grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
I mean, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it!
You see that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV!
What you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Oh, we've got a big one for you this week. Welcome in, everyone. Bill Rowland, Gary Dollarhide. This is Gen X Men episode 33. I have an idea of what I'd like to call this episode, but we'll have to get your approval on it first. And that is, we won't bury the lead. It is the EMT heads to the ER. That's the episode that I got for this because that's what happened. We were I thought I was going to have to do like a 10, 15 minute. Hey, everybody. Sorry, we don't have a full episode this week, but Gary was in the hospital and had to have surgery. So hopefully we'll be back next week, but you didn't. So I guess we need to start from the beginning on what happened because you were in Bangor. Again, for those of you who may be joining us after you watched our episode last week and we're like, oh, these guys aren't so bad. I'll check them out again. Gary lives in Central Maine. He is an EMT. He did not take himself to the hospital, I don't believe, as far as an EMT goes. I don't think you called up and said, send the ambulance for me and then did both sides of it, patient and EMT. So
no one worth their salt would ever do that.
Yeah.
I could have cut my own leg off and I would have had someone drive me to the ER.
There you go.
So Sunday, I am on duty at work, and late afternoon, I start kind of getting, some intermittent pain, some rumbling in the belly region. Mm-hmm. And, you look at it and go, all right, maybe I ate something. I don't know. You just kind of put it out of your mind. Well, it stays around. Didn't get necessarily worse, but it was letting me know it was still around. Come Sunday evening, Monday morning.
Okay.
And I said, all right, okay. Let me get home because I live 2.5 hours away from work to home. So it's that whole let me get home into my fortress and everything will be okay. So made the ride home. Got home late. It's still not right. Now, it hasn't fully triggered any warnings in me because it felt exactly like a kidney stone that I'd had about 10 years ago.
Okay.
The oddness of that is that kidney stone did not present what is usually typical for everyone else.
Okay.
Usually people get pain that ends up in either their right side or right lower back. That's kind of the history on that. Okay. Mine started right in my belly button, like someone was taking a knife to me. And it was horrible.
Okay.
And that's even then, even doing what I do, I was like, this is not good. And you get to the hospital and they do everything and it's a kidney stone. I'm like, oh, I feel kind of stupid now. But it was that painful. So I kind of had the same.
Let me go back and ask you on this because I know where it's going. So I'm not going to spoil it or anything. But when you were experiencing this pain, was it like I can remember when I had my situation where they found the cancer that we talked about a couple episodes ago? No matter what I did, I started feeling bad one afternoon, and it didn't matter if I was sitting up. It didn't matter if I laid down. It didn't matter if I was on my side. It didn't matter if I stood up and walked. No matter what I did, that pain, no matter what, I just couldn't get comfortable. Same thing?
No.
Okay.
It was.
All right.
That's also what made me take my guard down and go, well, is this first thing is this either the kidney stone again, or I'm having some GI issue, because it's intermittent, comes in spasms.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you're sitting there 15, 20 minutes. The next thing you know, it hits you. And it's like, whoa, what is that? And in my mind, for simplicity's sake, it's like, is there something moving through the small intestine, something that's just not settling well with my body? And that's what's causing this. And so it's causing pain around my belly button, off to the right. I can feel it going backwards, like toward my kidneys, the back of my back. And so come and go. Be super strong, then be nothing. Then I'm thinking, oh, we're through this. And then wham, hello, we're here again. So this went on from afternoon of Sunday until Tuesday morning when I got up, and things, I'd say, developed overnight Monday, where when I got up, as I was telling Susan, I know what it's like to feel pregnant, because my stomach is just distended and it feels huge. If I exert myself to get up to walk around, I'm like, it's just, I know this isn't right.
Was there throwing up?
No nausea.
That's
no vomiting.
Because I had throwing up and I had it coming out the other side as well. I mean, I was for about, I would say 12 to 14 hours, literally miserable. And I ended up lying on the floor in the bathroom, like literally, like people always say, oh, I mean, I was in the fetal position. I was literally in the fetal position lying in our bathroom. I was like, I don't think I can do this. So that's interesting that you didn't have any of that. Okay.
Well, funny you say that, because the physicians at both hospitals and a few of the nurses, everyone's got to re-ask the same questions, because we got to get the story down. Nausea, vomiting. I'm like, none at all. And they look up from their paper like, what? I'm like, no, it is strictly isolated to my belly region.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So Tuesday morning, I hit the wall of, I know all the things that aren't quite as simplistic, obviously, as well, thinking about your case as well, of, okay, we've reached a point that this needs to be evaluated by someone with more medical superpowers than me. So let's head to the ER.
Right.
So then I'm stuck with, I've got the small community hospital about 20 minutes away in Belfast. I can drive 45 minutes to it's more like a standalone ER. It's smaller, for another hospital system in Waterville. Or I can drive all the way up to Bangor and go to either the big boy of the area or the secondary hospital there. What am I going to do? Let's just make this easy. Let's just go to the hospital that's 20 minutes away. Now, they're a good hospital. It's just their design is what we call community access, right? It's the basics of, we can help you with a few things, and more than likely, if it's too complicated, we ship you out to Bangor, Portland, somewhere else. So I go there. Fortunately, unlike most ERs, first one in the door, no one's in the waiting room. I get registered, and 5 minutes later, I'm in a room.
Nice.
Because last time, and this is what I was joking with Susan about, was when I had the kidney stone, I walked into one of our mid-sized hospitals. I was the only one in the waiting room. And I'm, much like you said, the pain is so bad, I'm on the floor next to the chair, just trying to find any space or place to feel comfortable. And it was an hour and a half before I got brought back.
Oh my gosh.
And I could not understand, if no one's out here. And then when I did go to the back to know enough, going, empty room, empty room, empty room. Was it dinner break? Because I'm out here dying people.
They just want to deal with you. That's all. Yeah, they're like, forget it. Yeah, that was.
He's a drug seeker.
The only thing that for mine, the only thing that was probably, I mean, helpful is that it was COVID, so people were kind of avoiding. Like, a lot of times people are just use the ER as like the regular doctor. Like,
absolutely,
got a pain here in my arm. Okay, well, why are you in the emergency room? Is it from a gunshot wound? Because if not, go see your doctor later on this week. But people, we all know that that's how people use the ER
and the ambulance.
People were avoiding that because of COVID. You don't want to be anywhere near the hospital because that's where all the COVID people were dying. This was again August of 2020. So that's what it was. So yeah, I had the same thing. I walked in. They're like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I think I'm dying." Didn't exactly say that, but I was like, "I've got severe," and told them, and they're like, "Okay." And it was 30 seconds later, I went and sat down, and they walked out and said, "We got a room. Let's go." And I was like, "Okay." And I walked in at 6:30 in the morning, and was the only one in there. So same experience as far as like, "Hey, come on back." So that's good. Yeah. So they get you in the room. And then
get me in the room. We go through all the health history, start talking about things. And again, I'm giving the story to the nurse, and she's like, "Oh, okay." But again, you see that look. So no nausea, no vomiting, you know, and I'm like, "Yes, I had a bowel movement an hour ago." Won't get into details, but to rule out, I took a laxative Monday night under the guise of, if something moves, maybe it helps me, or it lets me know if things are moving or not.
Right.
So she's okay. All right. So doctor comes in, we have the talk, and he's probably half our age, but we're having a good talk,
yeah,
and I start running down in your decision tree. What about this? What about this? And I said, "I am full-time EMS. I have an idea, and I know the bad things." He goes, "Well, okay. Well, those are down my list." He goes, "Honestly, I think it's probably your gallbladder." Okay, I can go with that.
Right. Yeah.
Because some of the presentation's the same. I'm like, okay, I've already presented differently for something else. It could be that. So he goes off.
Did you immediately go, "It's not cancer, is it, Doc?"
No.
All right.
Because they always say, "Well, we have to run some tests." So you go through get my CAT scan. Now the nurses know that I do what I do. So when I'm talking to them for the IV, the whole 9 yards, we're having a better time, because I don't ever say what I do, because in our field that's kind of pretentious. Like, I'm an EMT, I know what you're doing. It just if it comes up because they recognize, as we say, medical recognizes medical. Oh, do you do something? Then we talk about it.
Right.
So I get my IV. We've waited around. It's about 10:30. He comes back. And I'm trying to read his face as soon as he comes in the room. He doesn't shut the door, which was
that's good.
Right? That's the first one. Is he going to shut the door? Because if he shuts the door...
The answer is usually a shut the door conversation.
Correct.
Yes.
Are we going to have that one? He doesn't. But he sits down, and I can tell he's still a little bit uncomfortable, which now goes, all right. So he says, on the scan, it looks like you've got a small bowel blockage and a hernia that's wrapping around the bowel.
Like a tentacle.
Which that is dangerous, and it does need to be remedied on the pronto, which I was like, okay, it's not anything. Because I was honestly down the road, in my mind, I've got a abdominal aortic aneurysm, which are just... That ranks up there of the oh crap mode. Right. Hard to fix, hard to deal with.
But okay. Sounds terrible.
And he goes, looking back, and this will make sense as we get into, he goes, well, we're out of beds here because they can do some surgery there.
Right.
He goes, but I think you need to be either in Portland or Bangor. I said, well, let's go to Bangor. He goes, all right, I'll get back to you. So we sit there. As you can guess, I'm there all day, right? So finally he comes back. I think it was around noon, says, yep, Bangor is going to take you. Your transport will be here at 2:45. So
hold on. Back up because when they are doing the whole thing of we think you have a blockage and all other stuff, when did they shove the hose down your throat like I had?
Well, that's where this comes from.
Oh, well,
I was just there.
Yet. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, because it makes you wonder too. He says, yep, we're going to get you to Bangor. I've already talked to the surgeon there. It's going to take you. They want to go ahead and put an NG tube in you. I'm like, oh, all righty then.
Do you mind? I have it available.
No. Throw it up if you got it.
What's it called? An NG?
It's a nasogastric tube, NG.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, looking happy right there.
Here it is, dude. And I should pull mine up as well. I've got the same I have the same picture. You keep talking, I'll pull up mine, so it's fair. So we're not just making fun of you with that. Now, here, let me ask you, as you get to that, one shot?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You're so lucky.
Oh, okay.
It was 3.
What?
3 times they had to do mine.
Oh.
3 times. And again, I will pull it up.
Okay. You're a little bit frozen right now, so just to let you know on this end.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just letting you know if you go, see, ta-da, I'm like, you're not there. There you are.
Okay. I don't, I'm going to try something.
Okay.
Did I freeze up again?
Yes, you did. Right there.
Yep. It's because when I go away from StreamYard
it
to
freezes
download
you.
the stuff, it's freezing up. So what I'll do is I'll go and do that while you're having the conversation, or while you're telling me about it. But yes, mine was 3 times they had to do it because the first one, and it's gross. They grease it up.
Yes, they do.
And then they just thread it and they put it in. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay. First, I was like, that wasn't.
Oh, they missed.
Oh, it wasn't bad. No, it was fine. I was like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a half hour later, the nurse comes in and she's like looking at stuff, and then comes over and she's like poking around, and she's like, "Who did this?" And I said,
no.
Yeah, and I went, I don't know, maybe whoever you replaced. I said somebody with a name tag. That's what I said. I said somebody had a name tag on. I didn't get the name. I didn't write it down, but
they looked important.
Like they knew what they were doing. And she goes, this hose or whatever they call it. I don't know if it was called a hose. Tube. That's it. I don't remember. I couldn't remember exactly. She goes, the diameter is too small for what we need for you.
Oh.
And I went, what? And she goes, yeah. She goes, that's not going to work for the stuff that we have to do. I don't know what they're doing. I'm thinking, because again, this is a blockage, the same thing that you had going on. And I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, it means we got to do it again. I was like, oh, no. Sweet. So she threads it out, leaves the room. And at that point, I'm thinking, maybe I'll luck out. Maybe they'll forget to come back and I won't have to have this thing down my throat at all. She comes back in, and then it was another nurse, but it wasn't the first nurse. It was a different one. So they come in, and the nurse that came in and said that the tube was too small comes in with this other woman. She goes, I don't do these, but she's going to do it for me. And I was like, okay, sure. So they got this big giant tube, and that's when they start going, and it's not as good as the first one. It's not finding its way down. And I can feel it. I mean, you can.
Yes,
feel
you
it
can.
when it passes through your throat. You can feel it.
Did they make you drink the water?
Yeah. You had to drink. The first one, like I said, it felt like you were taking a pill. It was like, okay, it was fine. This one, no. It felt like somebody had a grip, and I was like, this is a problem. Like, I'm trying to drink water, and it's going all down. I'm like, I can't get the water down. And then they stop and go, that one may be too big. And so they start pulling it, fishing it back out. I'm like, can we get the Goldilocks one? Can we get the one that's gonna fit like between the one that's too small and the one that you just tried to shove down my throat that's too big? So finally they went and got another one, and that one went down, not as easy as the first, but it did go down.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them, and they're like, yeah, that's it. We're good. I'm like, well, thank you. That's 3 times.
Wow.
It's so gross. Anyway, I'm going to pull my picture up. You talk, I'm going to freeze.
Well, the question, did you get a shot of Ativan before they did it?
What is it?
Ativan?
I have no idea. I don't remember that.
It's to take the edge off, Bill. So.
Oh, no. They didn't, because there was, I got a whole thing of mine, but and you and I kind of talked about texting back and forth. I told them, unless it was absolutely necessary, I wanted no drugs whatsoever. And so they're like, okay, I guess maybe they thought I was a sadist or something. They're like, all right.
Well, no, there are legitimate reasons. Some people like that. I asked for the Ativan because it just makes you feel a little bit happy without being crazy.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that.
You know, because we're all medical friends. Right. I don't even know if they were going to.
Were you like having a little stitch for daddy
Yes.
too? Is that the whole thing?
I don't know if they were going to offer it. I said, hey, can we do something just to take a little bit of the anxiety out of this?
Maybe a little Molly. Throw that in there.
A little bit of Ativan.
All right, I'm going to freeze because I'm going to go download my picture because fair is fair. So you go ahead and tell your story from where you are now.
So the doctor said, we got to get an NG tube in you. And of course, I'm just thrilled at that because I know what that's about. Never had one before, but I've seen it. I've put one down someone's nose, just not really on my bingo list for the day already, right? I've already got a couple strikes of going to the ER. Now I'm being told I need surgery, and now we're going to have to do the NG tube. So fortunately, the two nurses sent Susan out of the room. I'm a little bit on edge. And of course, I make the joke, hey, this is not the three-way I envisioned, but we can make this work. And of course, they're giggling. So
nice.
One-shot deal, shoved in, way to go. And of course, like you said, I hated it because they have to put a little bit as large as they can because they're sucking stomach contents. And sometimes those contents are chunks of things. So you can't have too small a tube, or if it gets clogged, then we've got to pull that tube and put it right. We're just trying to help ourselves. So they get it in, but I knew it was a bigger one. I could feel it in the back of my sinus, and I could feel it hanging there in my throat. And folks, it's seconds of uncomfortable getting it in. You can generally tolerate it once it's in. It just feels funny. Mine started to wear on through the day, and boy, did it just drive me nuts.
Again, it feels like you've just got you've taken a
A
pill.
loogie.
It feels like a pill got stuck right here. And no matter what you do, no matter how much water or anything you drink, it's gonna stick right there. All right. Just to be fair, there you go.
There it is.
Like, I mean, we could.
The Snuffleupagus brothers.
I want to be able to do a side by side, but we can't. I guess you can't put all four things on there. So. But
we can fake tube ourselves right now.
Yeah. So there's me, and it's almost exact. They did a better job of covering the front of your nose, right? Because you've got the Band-Aid right down the tip of your nose. Mine's kind of off to the side, yanked, but you can see the gross stuff is already coming out of mine. Yeah, that yellow gross fluid. Anyway, so fair is fair. If I had to show you, don't mind. So
buckets of gross out of me, let me tell you. So we get the nose tube in. And I mean, at this point, it's maybe 12:30. So I still got to wait till 2:45 to leave. Waiting. We're watching TV. We're just hanging out, but it's not as fun because you're in a hospital, right? It's just, I mean, great cable, but that's about it.
You're just there.
Yep. So the ambulance transport comes, and of course, I didn't say a word. The guy and the girl come in. I hear you're one of us. I'm like, yes, I am.
Well, they probably told him when they, downstairs or whatever.
And there were, he said, have you ever been on the other side? I said, nope, this is going to be the first one with you, my friend. So a nice 45-minute ride up to Bangor. We talked shop because, he was doing his report with voice to text, which I was like, hey, because I use AI to write mine, and here he is, because I can hear him behind me because we're in the smaller transport ones. And he's just talking away. I said, hold on here. Let's talk. Tell me what you're doing. So they get me to Bangor. I've never been in that hospital. Don't know if something was going on. So we get to the ER, stop, and here comes security. And me, patient on a stretcher, gets a wand over me, and then they go through my two bags.
Wow.
So that's, I guess, standard procedure is what I'm told. Bangor is evidently a little bit of a rough town, even though you wouldn't think.
I mean, I'm going to lay it out there. There's a lot of Chinese platforms, as you know, up in that area, which is brought in, from what I've heard, and you would know better. You could tell me if I'm wrong or not. Has brought some of the Mexican gangs there. Is that
absolutely?
True? Okay, so
all through central Maine. Oh yeah. Lewiston North. Yep.
The Chinese bought up all this land and started pot farms, and the Mexicans are like, no, we're not having that. We do this. That's the simple version of what I've been told is going on.
The main version of West Side Story.
And the nice thing is it'll get cleaned up because you guys are going to actually elect a literal Nazi to be your senator. So that's amazing.
No, he'll promote it. So anyway, we won't go there on this discussion.
Yeah,
back to us. All
right. So you get bonded, they pat you down.
Yep.
Everything's good.
Throw me in a room. Okay,
right.
Here we are. I'm just waiting around, and it's, I think, 6 o'clock. I got there about 3:45. Between 6 and 7, if I remember right, when the surgeon finally comes in and say hello. But, I've already got the IV, and the nurses that were there were just chit-chatting and pretty much realized I'm on my own. I've got this. You guys go do whatever. So I'm just tying up a room. The surgeon comes in and goes, yep. Yeah, she re-explained what the doctor in Belfast told me. This is what I see. This is what we're going to have to do. Gives me the bad news that since I don't have a lot of dead space in my abdomen, she can't use the laparoscope, which is the 3-hole punch where they use the handles. She's going to have to do a full below the navel up to almost my sternum, open me up, one big incision. I'm like, oh, thank you. What? Again, not on my bingo. Like. That's okay. But again, not on my bingo card for the day. But boy, we are racking up some good stuff. So now I've got that tension on me going, here we are. Well, when do we think we're going to get to this? She said probably 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Oh, tonight, 10, 11.
Nice.
Okay. So then I'm thinking, because she's gone, I said, well, how long has she been on duty? Like, am I the last one of the day? It's going to get sloppy. I mean, we're going to do a good job here. So Susan gets there because I sent her home to deal with the dog and kind of get settled because I know you're just going to sit around. So
right.
Don't want to put her through that.
Right.
So at 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're going to run another CT scan on you just to verify everything before we get ready for this. All right, let's do it. Get the CT scan. Then they send me up to the floor. All right, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. This part happens pretty fast. We're just sitting in the room, and we're sitting.
Did he do a sonogram?
Nope.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they import those up here or not, but
I'm sure they have them somewhere.
So finally, I'm thinking it's 10 o'clock. What? And it was probably. What time did I text you? I don't know.
Like 10:30 last night.
Yeah, it was about 10:30. Surgeon comes in and says, well, I've got great news. I'm like, after my day's been, what is it? That you're not doing the surgery, you're going home, someone else. It's not going to be to my benefit, is what I'm feeling.
You're like, what? I get my own room? That's it? Yeah.
I was in my own room. It was a double, but I got it to myself.
Nice.
So she says, and I understood this because I had read the reports from the first hospital when I was riding to just trying to keep track of this stuff. She goes, we were able, and she had mentioned it, I just didn't pay much attention downstairs. She goes, we were able, here to use the contrast dye. I'm like, okay. She goes, it did exactly for you what we would hope it would do. She goes, it has a tendency to act like Drano when it runs through everything. So it shows up on the imaging, showing vessels, and it gives them a better picture, but also clean you out. I'm like, oh. She goes, so you're 100% fine. We're not going to do any surgery.
Hold on a second. Did you have to drink the 2 bottles before the CT scan?
At Bangor, but not in Belfast, because
right. But
I remember seeing it in Belfast. It said they weren't using contrast dye because of an area shortage. I'm like, and we have it in EMS. I didn't know is that critical till after.
This is, and I mean, obviously you're fine. I'm not saying the doctor was wrong.
Yeah.
I've had 5 of those things. Actually 6 if you count the original one. I've had 5 since my surgery.
Yeah.
with chemo and everything. I have never experienced a quote unquote clean out from a CT scan. That's amazing because them saying that to you, I mean, does that mean like it liquefied whatever the blockage was? Like to me, when they say it cleaned it out, I'm thinking you were like in another room, like having some issues.
Because I thought about that. I said, I haven't had a bowel movement since then, right? Or I guess there's two parts.
Dissolve it into your blood.
It may have dissolved it. If it was, there's two parts to it. It was already working itself out, but it was just taking longer, and I was having issues, and that was the last little kicker to get it done. Or did it actually do something? It dissolved it and just spread everything out. You got me.
Because I know, I mean, if anybody's had a CT scan, you'll remember they tell you as you're laying there, it's they put it in and they tell you it's going to feel like you have to urinate really bad. And it doesn't burn, but it gives you a warm sensation in your nether regions is the best way to put it, in your pelvic area. And I always had that experience. Like the first year, I always thought, I mean, is it really? And then the first time you did, you're like,
whoa.
Oh, yeah, it does feel like I just urinated all over myself, actually. But I didn't. You're looking down all the time. You're like, well, that's wild. So you get used to it. It's not a big deal. But I've never heard that it acts like Drano.
She said it twice.
I've never been told that. That's wild.
And maybe it's for lower end issues that it does kind of help move things. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to read up on that.
You can't eat or drink before you go, like the 4 or 5 hours before you go in for the CT scan. I always did mine in the morning, so I never ate because I was just like, well, I won't have anything the day before. Or, after I eat dinner, I just won't eat in the morning, so it's a long time. So I was like, well, maybe that's why I never had it because there was nothing for it to have to plumb out or whatever. So that's great. I've always thought like with that blockage, and I didn't think about this until after the fact. Why couldn't they give you the same stuff they give you before you go in for a colonoscopy? Because that cleans. You want to talk about getting cleaned out? That cleans out everything.
Well, I think the question comes back, and I don't know all this. It's something I'm going to look into is like the mag citrate and everything else that they get cleaned you out, but that's cleaning out the large intestine. When you small bowel, it could be the top of your small intestine just past your stomach. I don't know if it has the same effect up there. Who knows? And if anything, if you're unblocking from up there, it may cause a block further. There's probably science to it somewhere.
I'm sure there's science to it. Did they tell you what caused it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start with the doctor coming in and saying good news, and then we'll get to that then?
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But also the other thing, now that I replay my head, so late in the evening, I started feeling better. And this was before that CT.
Interesting.
Right? The pains have subsided. I'm like just hanging out now. I'm like, all right. But again, you can't just go, oh, I feel better right now.
Just check myself out. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just go home. Call it a day.
Right.
So she runs through it. Hey, you're fine. We're going to keep you overnight just to keep an eye on things. I'm like, thank goodness, other than being an expensive hotel room, because it's, so late now, I really don't want to drive home.
Yeah.
So I said, what do we think happened? She goes, oh, it's gastroenteritis. I'm like, all right. I know that's kind of a fail-safe umbrella, but tell me more.
She's just making stuff up.
She goes, well, it's just where you get inflammation of the intestines and the bowels. And I'm like, okay, what caused it, do you think? She goes, well, it could have been viral. You could have picked it up from someone else because you deal with patients.
Are you on a cruise? Is that what happened?
Right.
We'll get to that. Go ahead.
Remind me on that one. I've got a good one for that one.
Yeah.
She said it could be just something you ate.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's it. She goes, yeah. I mean, it's just it's a blanket term that
give you a lot of nothing.
Gave me a lot of nothing. But I will accept that a lot of nothing than getting ripped open at 11 o'clock at night by a surgeon. God bless her. She was wonderful, but was it her last one? I mean, I don't know. She'd been on for 24 hours. We avoided that one. But when she left, she goes, nope, I got 2 more to do right now. I'm like, oh my Lord.
You should have been like, I'm an EMT. Do you need any help? Can I help
Right?
you with any of these things?
Let me scrub in.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Let me make the first cut. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So oddly enough, I'd sent Susan out to a hotel because I said the room had a chair and the bed. And I said,
no.
Go to the hotel. You're not driving home this late and sleep in a bed because I want to sleep in this bed. So.
Right. I'm not going to sit in the chair. They just told me I'm okay. So I'm going to sleep in the bed. Yeah, of course.
So this is my first overnight stay in a hospital.
Ever?
I've never been in the hospital except for the 8 hours of the kidney stone 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I've never stayed in the hospital overnight. And now I totally understand when people say it is the worst sleep because they wake you up all night.
Yep.
And I kept going in my head, why are you here? Because they were kind enough to give me some muscle relaxants. I enjoyed that to go to bed with. So I was in a good spot. And then it was, I swear I just went to sleep and then here you are bothering me. Yeah. So I learned to lay on my left side and just keep my right arm available. So when they came in, they could
check the vitals.
They could check the vitals and leave me alone.
Yep.
So we made it to the morning and I'm thinking, we're out of here. Nope. They want to see me eat and see how I do before I leave.
What'd they give you?
So we started with the vegetable broth, a little thing of Jell-O, and a cup of lemonade.
Okay.
And of course, the nurse, little Filipino guy, great guy, he was telling me, you must eat slow. And as soon as he turned around, I'm like, bloop, and 2 spoons, done. And he comes back maybe like 5 minutes later. And he just looks at me. I said, I think we're good. I was just kind of hungry. So, all right. He goes, well, let me talk to the doctor. They still haven't made rounds yet. I'm like, okay, we'll wait for the doctor and do rounds. So I wait and I wait. And the PA comes in. So I'm not seeing the surgeon. So maybe she's sleeping now, right? She was up late.
She's going home. Yeah.
Yeah, right. She's going over everything. I asked her again, do you think you know what caused this? What could have? I'm just looking for triggers so we're not here again.
Right.
Same story. Could be viral, could be bacterial, could be this, could be that. Okay. All right. She goes, well, do you think you could handle solid food? I said, bring it on. Let's just go.
Go grill up that steak. Let's go. Come on.
Well, she's like, well, we can order. And I'm like, seriously? And she said, you just want, she goes, I can just give you like the hospital turkey sandwich. Yes, that's fine. I will eat that. Not a problem. So
did you go side of bacon with that?
So she comes back 2 minutes later with the turkey sandwich and a bowl of Cheerios. Now, the rules change. After I eat this, the nurse says, we need you to walk around.
Oh, yeah. You got to do a lap before they'll let you out.
Got to do the lap.
Yep.
So he, I've still got the gown on, got my boxers, got my slippy socks on. He ties me up, walks me outside the door. He goes, see the exit sign down there? He goes, I just need you to go down there, come back. Yep. Go down there, come back. And just go real slow. Take it easy.
You're like, no.
And the whole time I'm thinking, this guy, does he know I didn't have surgery? Like, we're good to go here. I said, okay. So here I am, knowing me. I've got my phone in my hand. I get to the exit sign. And there's 2 hallways, left and right. Right takes me back into the other side of that surgical unit. And left shows me a bank of elevators. Well, let's go see what's over here. So here I go, hitting the elevator, in my gown, in my socks, in my boxers. I'm down in the cafeteria.
Why not?
I'm like, this is amazing. There's sushi. There's brick oven pizza and Italian sandwiches. And then they got the grill. They haven't fully started because it's still 10, 11. They haven't started lunch, but they're getting ready. I'm like, and look at these prices. I'm going to be coming back here.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone, most of it's personnel. They're in the scrubs and they're just looking at me and I'm on my phone like, oh, look at this and that. I wander down to the lobby. They got big couches down there. I'm just sitting there watching people come in. They're all looking at me. I'm sure everyone's going, did someone escape the loony floor? Because I'm just having a great time. Right. I go up to the chapel, see what's going on in there. I'm just meandering all over. So finally I said, it's been a while. So I head back upstairs. And the nurse was, oh, where did you go? I said, I don't know. I was like, this place is huge. I was just seeing what's out there. He just started laughing. He goes, well, you're cleared to go. And it was right about the time Susan got back. I said, oh, he goes, yeah, we just couldn't figure out what happened to you. And I go through my head like, well, does anyone keep track of the patients? Like anyone just run out of here? And
you could have just walked out.
Could have just walked out. I mean, not that they can hold you, but it's just kind of funny that I was waiting for some code gray signal over the loudspeaker that there's an escaped elderly person with silver hair. Well, I know, right? But what are they going to say? Code dad bod or something. Middle-aged guy is missing. I was like, was anyone come look for me? You guys just go, well, he cleared out. We're good. Who's next?
I don't care.
So then we got to leave, and I was very happy that's if I was going to spend a day and under that much tension, that's how it turned out. So happy on that front.
Not horrible. I mean, all in all, it sucked because it wastes a day and everything else, and you were a lot of uncomfortable things. But again, if all it came down to was drinking those 2 bottles for the CT scan, that's what cleared it up. Well, that's fantastic.
The nurse dropped them, and she went to type on the computer, and she looked back because I just sucked them. I just gone, right? I'm efficient. Let's move through this. She goes, "Do you both of them?" I'm like, "Yeah." No.
It's like 30 some ounces. I mean, they're like 18 ounces a piece or whatever it was. Yeah, that's what
just hammered them.
That's the same thing. Whenever they handed them to me, I was like,
I went to college.
Yeah, well, exactly right. They would hand them to you and be like, okay, drink one and then try to get as much of the second one. They're like, you gotta get at least half of it down, and then come back and we'll take you back. And again, the last time that I was in there, just about a month ago, just about a month ago, it was on the 10th. I went up and they, handed them to me, and I said, if I finish, where am I in the pecking order? I was like, do I have to wait after I finish these, or? And the lady goes, yeah, usually we'll make you wait like 20 minutes after you finish the second one to, before we'll take you back. And I was like, okay. And I looked at my watch and I said, so I should be back there about 11:30 then, and it's like 11 o'clock, and she's like, I mean, if you drink them that fast, and I just cracked the one right in front of her and crushed the first one and handed that back to her. I said, I'll go sit down and work on the second one. And she just started laughing. She goes, I feel like you've done this before. I'm like, yeah. I said, I've done this. And I said, I've pounded back. I said, if you had a solo cup, I could have done it a lot faster, but I just have to deal with it with what I have. So,
well, next time I will be prepared with the key so I can shotgun it, right?
Yeah, there you go. I just cut the bottom and turn the top of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they're just, most people, and I always felt bad because you see other people, they're like, literally, it'll just be like, they'll have their thing. And it's just like, what?
Sip.
And then they sit there and they hold it in their hand. And you see them like a minute later, maybe. And they hold it in their hand. I'm like, dude, you're going to be here forever. Like, just house that thing. Just throw it back. Don't think it doesn't taste like anything. It's slightly chalky.
I was going to say, unless yours was different, mine really had no taste to it.
No, it doesn't.
There was a slight something to it, but it was still water.
Yeah. And it doesn't even taste like water. I wouldn't even describe it as water. It literally, like you said, it's like nothing. Slight chalkiness.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, and when I say slight, I mean just a hint. Like you would just be like, yeah, that's a little. What is that? Is that chalk? What is that? I mean, it tastes like nothing. That's why I'm like, I don't understand how people can't just crush these things, but
they don't. That's what the nurse said.
I'm cutting in front of all of you. Cutting in line in front of all of you people.
That's what the nurse, she goes, a lot of people just take their time. And
Nope.
I'm like, why? It's just 2 little bottles of water. Let's get through this. Let's get on.
I mean, little is maybe an exaggeration. I mean, it is. I think they're like 18 or 20 ounces a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like chugging 2 Dasanis or whatever bottles. But again, if you are wanting to get out of there, you're going to chug those things. You're going to get out of there. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that was my venture. So,
That's awesome.
A lot happened, and I will honestly say from about 5:30, even though I was feeling better till she gave me the news, I was under a lot of mental stress because
of course
I've had no surgeries other than wisdom teeth removal at age 14. Yes, I had the kidney stone. Nothing else. Never stayed in the hospital for anything else. And now you're telling me, hey, we are going to fillet you open to fix this problem. That was mentally taxing on me. I do admit that. It was tough thinking, this is going to happen. And there's not much I can do about it.
No, there's nothing you can do about it. So,
yeah.
But I didn't realize it. Now, mine, I mean, I guess I was the same way. I hadn't stayed overnight in the hospital since I had my knee surgery when I was 13 up until, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. It didn't bother me. I didn't freak out about it. I think that's one of the main things. Like a lot of people may not feel well and they go to their doctor and that's when they find out, oh, by the way, we ran the test, you have cancer. And you're like, oh crap, what's the next step? I feel, and I say this all the time, I felt fortunate because I went in there and I was in such pain and everything else. And it was like, okay, you've got this blockage. And oh yeah, by the way, we found a cancer, what we think is a cancer tumor. We won't know, they wouldn't know till they cut into me. But they were like, we've got to do this tomorrow. Like, we're not waiting. There was no processing period of just waiting around. It was, I mean, again, by the time they got me up to the room, it was probably, I mean, I was downstairs in the ER doing all the tests and everything for hours. It seemed like forever. And then I remember laying there like 4 PM and one guy is arguing with another guy about whether they should even do surgery or whatever. Like, he's like, I think, we should probably do a colonoscopy first. And the guy who ultimately ended up doing my surgery was like, what's it going to show? Like, we already know what's going on. Why would we put him through a colonoscopy to come back and say, oh yeah, by the way, there it is. He's like, we know where it is. And the guy's like, I just think we can. And finally, it's kind of a dick. I was sitting there, I go, hey, is it up to me? Like literally, it looked like a movie scene where like I'm just laying there like back like this, and they're talking over top of me. One's on one side, one's on the other. And I finally just went, do I have a say in this? And the guy, Dr. Zvekta, who is my surgeon, just kind of looked down. He goes, well, yeah, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't care what else is going on. I want the tumor out of me. Like, I'm not waiting around. Like, let's just get the tumor out. And so Dr. Zvekta looked up at the other guy who was the only time I ever saw him. I have no idea who he is. I'm sure he's very nice. I have no idea. I'm sure he's good at what he does. I have no idea. And
he just has different opinions.
Yeah. Dr. Zvekta looked at him and said, I guess we're doing the surgery. And the guy went, your choice, and just turned around and walked out. I was like, I turned around and said, that's great bedside manner. It was just so they did it the next morning. So again, I didn't have time to like sit there and just be like, oh my gosh, I've got this and what's gonna happen to me. Because again, you're just there. Like you said, you sent your lady off to the hotel and was just like, Susan, just go because you can't do anything. So you're just there. And with me, I couldn't even have people there because it was COVID. So you couldn't have visitors. So I was like, well, I'm just here. The other crazy thing, I didn't put my contacts in that morning when I went to the ER. So for the entire time I was in the hospital, I didn't have my contacts. I eventually had my then girlfriend bring me my glasses.
You Mr. Magooed it?
I couldn't, dude. I didn't watch I didn't watch TV for like 4 days. I was in the hospital for like 10 days, I think. But I didn't watch TV for like the first 4 days because I couldn't see it from where I was. And I was like, you know what? Probably better for me anyway. So yeah.
You listened. You got deeper into the story just listening to the audio.
Dude, I didn't even turn it on. But Now, when you got there,
Yeah.
was it just you could have ice and nothing else?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. They didn't want anything in my stomach because
Right.
they were full on prepping. I was going to surgery. Now, this brings me back to something I discussed with Susan today.
Okay.
The small hospital couldn't keep me because their beds were full.
Okay.
And so apparently, because I wasn't being transferred because they couldn't do the surgery, I was being transferred because they had no room in the inn. Because I know they do some surgery there, again, to what level. But it was never as if we're sending you to a specialist. We're sending you up there because we don't have room here.
Right.
Fair enough. So when you look back, they used a CAT scan without the contrast.
Right.
If he doesn't send me and they have room there,
you're getting gutted.
The question, that's what we said. Were they going to redo it to double check with contrast? Because now we've stepped up of what we think. Or were they going to just go with the first one, cut me open and go, well, geez, everything looks good in here. What do we do?
They wouldn't do that. They would cut you open and they would make up something and be like, they put you back together. Everything's fine. You're going to be good to go.
We found a golf ball inside you, right?
It wouldn't even be that. They would just make up something. Yeah, we got rid of the blockage.
Exploratory or
the hernia is okay. It wasn't a big deal. You're going to be fine. That's exactly what they would tell you.
Yeah. So that one was riding on me all afternoon today of,
nice.
What could have happened? Or am I misjudging like that they would have said, okay, now he's a real candidate. Let's use the contrast dye and really take a look at what we're doing. Because I knew a little bit. I go online and go, hey, what's the difference between contrast, no contrast? And it said it's very specific of what it helps and outlines. And as they said, it's like looking through, black and white glasses with a filter to a full color television. It's that different. Yeah, I'm like going, But maybe I sort of get the smaller hospital. That's their standard of, since we're running so many people through, we're just going to do the basics to get us in the ballpark of what's going on here.
Yeah, that could be. And that could be why they say we don't want to use the contrast because of shortage, because they're probably saving it for somebody like you who they've got to really look at it and be like, okay, this dude needs it, not just somebody came in and said, I've got a little pain in my tummy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, all right, whatever, dude. We'll go down and scan you. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, So they said it could have been viral.
Yeah.
Did they say it was because I feel like they're trying to make this a thing where they like, have you been hanging out with any rats lately? Are you around somebody that might have come back on a cruise ship at some point?
Well, at both admissions, they said, have you been out of Maine in the past 30 days?
Oh, my God.
Of which I said, yes, because
you went to D.C.?
I went to D.C.
You're a super
But I didn't say where. You just saw him. You were outside Maine? Well, yeah, I went to D.C. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, people leave the state, Jethro. Come on.
Right, we can leave. There's no fence yet.
Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. So... Yeah,
hantavirus.
Yeah, and everybody. Trust me, I'm not the only one that's doing it. Everybody is like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah,
you stop it already. And I've seen all the conspiracy people that are like, look, it was a side effect of the shot because it had something on. I'm like, people, that's not it. But again, everybody's freaking out. Like the dude from the World Health Organization is trying to make it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
of course,
what is there to it? There's nothing to it. I mean, there is. Look, it's got a terrible mortality rate. Way worse than COVID-19 had. Way worse. But it's way, way, way harder to pass human to human to even get it. Like, it's so difficult. And by the way, I'm not buying the origination story either.
Okay.
Do you buy that it was two people that went bird watching and happened to traipse through a dump?
I will buy it to the effect of it's possible no one was telling the truth, or what was said wasn't making sense. So they had to pick the best option to figure out this is probably how it started, where it came from.
Here's what I think.
Okay.
The cruise ships are full of rats.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you know this.
Yes.
But You go to a dock. I was having this conversation with Carrie earlier tonight, actually at dinner, which is kind of gross that we were having this conversation at dinner. But we were, because I said, I'm not buying that these people went to the local, refuse place while they were bird watching and somehow stepped in rat feces and this. No, it's not what happens. I said, those boats pull into a dock or a harbor, and it's like a party.
Yeah.
The rats are like, oh, sweetness.
New buffet is open.
Yes. And they were probably on where it originated from. All of those boats have mice/rats on them. We were having this conversation because I said, look, when ESPN Zone was a thing, when I worked in Baltimore, we would do post games for when the Ravens played on the road. We would do the post games at the ESPN Zone. That's in the inner harbor of Baltimore. It's a restaurant. They have big, giant dumpsters out back, right?
Yeah.
So one of the guys that did the post-game show with me was a smoker. We would go outside during like a break, or if they're, we're going to, let's hear Brian Billick's, post-game press conference. And you knew you had 10, 12 minutes or whatever to go outside. So I'd go out with him when he'd have a smoke. And you'd stand 30 feet from the dumpster, and it would sound like there were two, like, homeless people fighting in the dumpster because of all the rats that were in there.
They probably were, too.
Well, yeah, we would see them all the time. I used to joke with them. I said, look, I don't want to get attacked by a rat. If they come over here, you are giving them a cigarette because that's what they're going to be here for. I said, we'll just stand out here and smoke with the rat. It'll be fine. That's all they want. Those things were ginormous. So I think that's what happened. These people got exposed on the cruise ship, but nobody wants to say that because it would absolutely wreck
the cruise ship. Yeah.
Now, Carrie argues that and says, well, no, because like, remember the one that tipped over in Europe, I think it was. And she's like, remember the other one that the power failed and they ended up on what they called the shit ship or whatever when they got the she's like, that didn't end it. I said, that's different because everybody goes, that's one time that the ship's going to turn over on. Like, that's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Like, people go, that's one time. Lose power? How often does that happen? But if every cruise ship has rats, and I'm guessing a majority of them do, that's when everybody goes,
no way.
I don't want to be on a cruise with rats. Are you serious? Yes, there are. Ask anybody who has ever worked on one. They will tell you absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I look at it, other than the rat portion, the whole cruise ship thing is sort of like flying, right? There's hundreds of thousand flights a day, and it's only a big headline when one has an accident. Right. But otherwise, everything kind of works out on its own. So then cruise ships, not saying there's hundreds of thousands, but there's enough. And so the headline is, this one tipped over. This one lost power, right? And they're already fighting the whole, which happens more than enough, is the norovirus spreading on these ships.
Another reason I won't go on them. It's gross.
It's one of the reasons I've refrained too. I just feel like the population that tightly enclosed, all it takes is the introduction. Like in hantavirus would be one of them, or norovirus, or back during COVID, too many people too close together, something's going to happen. So you have to take your health, decide your health risk for any given time.
My thing, it's a floating hotel.
Literally,
it's a floating hotel. And that's why, like, I wouldn't want to get in. Have you ever been to a Great Wolf Lodge?
Yes.
Okay. Great concept, indoor water park, everything else. And they keep the stuff clean because you walk into their little indoor pool area and, the smell of chlorine is overwhelming.
Right, because they know it's the world's largest bathroom. Yes.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like I don't question their hygiene. I'm sure they do all this stuff, whatever. They can do all these things all the time.
Yeah,
it's still gross to me. Like I'm not going to get into the big giant pool where everybody else has been in the big giant pool all day, and I'm certainly not going to do it on a cruise ship when you're out in the ocean. And I don't care what kind of filtration or anything. I don't care. I'm not doing it. And I'm not going to sit in a big galley with, 1,500 other people to eat my meal. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see the same people every day when I sit down for my meal. I don't want to be stuck with them on the promenade deck or whatever they call it. I don't care. So no, I'm not doing a cruise.
I mean, I admit I have wanted to, not to become a lifestyle. I've wanted to, but I am always held back.
But you want to do the swingers cruise? That's different.
The upside down pineapple plays well with others. No, I've kind of wanted to do the cruise thing, but it always comes back to, as you said, being stuck on a boat with probably a lot of people I don't want to be around, much less, like you said, you hear about the norovirus or, oh, we lost all Santa. Those thoughts horrify me. Exactly. And you could say, well, Gary, what if you were on a plane and went down? Well, my discomfort might be, not that long. So, right. I'm not going to be stuck on a plane crashing for 7 days.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Unless you're MH370, the Malaysia flight.
Correct. Or the soccer players in the Andes.
Yeah. That they just stole out of the sky. Yeah, I can't do it. But I'm so glad that now, again, there are people that are like really worried about this virus. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. And I'm glad, though, that I'm seeing a lot of people being like, no, we're not doing this again. Like, we're not doing, stop trying to make this a thing. They tried to do it with monkeypox, and everybody went, no, get out of here with your monkeypox. We're not buying this. And they're doing the same thing with this virus. Now, the only thing that I worry about is that at some point there is a legit, like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing, that everybody's going to be like, we're not doing this. And then they figure out a way to wipe out 80% of us like they want to do anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that you always live with that because hantavirus is one of them. Ebola is another, where technically, if you look at it scientifically, as horrible as the results can be, you almost want that one because it burns itself out so fast because it kills so fast. It kills the host, which means it's not spreading. COVID, flu, where it spreads and it's now on the door handle for a couple of days.
Of course. Right.
Correct. And so, you get an extension of the the epidemic of whatever it is. But I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to put up with that again. Or the only way they would, it would have to be so drastically different. Like they would have to have the pictures of people bleeding out of their eyes, like right? No, they would have to go to that level to go, this is why you need to stay at home for a week or two.
But they tried that with, remember all the pictures from China? You'd see all the videos from China of people collapsing the street, that now people are like, we're not sure that actually happened that way. There's some of that going on because if you knew people that had COVID, they didn't just collapse all of a sudden. Like you knew that you had it. I mean, but you weren't like walking down the street and suddenly just fall down dead. That's not how it went.
Yeah. So. I mean, honestly, the only way, if they needed to and happened to on the next go round, the way they would have to shut us down is they would have to shut down the gas delivery system.
Yeah.
You shut down any tankers running, any gas. It's for the most part, except in big cities, we're done because no one's moving. No one can get around. No one's going to pull out the bikes.
That's how they're going to get everybody to switch over to electric vehicles. Just because they're going to be like, oh, see, we can't get. You should have had an electric vehicle because then you'd be able to get places. Yeah, I mean that's
can't trust them.
But here's the other thing. Well, no, you can't. That's 100% sure. I just worry that Trump's going to come back with the next strain of the COVID because he's over there in China now. He landed there today, and I was like, "Oh, great! We're going to bring this back because
I would. Well, so if I am Secret Service, I would have to wonder because we know that's where it came from last time.
I'd be worried,
and you'd have to be worried because let's face it. For those of you who don't know, China would gladly give up a couple 100,000 people sick, dead, to reach whatever goal that they're trying to do.
Yes.
So they could say, all right, he's going to be here. We're going to release this virus, infect 30, 40, I mean, a couple thousand people who would be food service, security in his bubble while he's here. And we're going to hope it hits him and a few others in his entourage.
I mean, I'm sure the Secret Service is trying to keep an eye on the food prep and everything else and all that kind of stuff, but you can't keep an eye on everything. You don't know what they've done before they even brought that food in, unless they just have a mobile McDonald's that's traveling with him. I mean, maybe there's that thing, but yeah, no, it's crazy. And look, there's even conversations, and this is when you're starting to go deep down the rabbit hole. But there's even conversations that China doesn't have nearly as many people as they say, and that there's a lot more people that died during COVID than they're letting on, and that's why their population isn't as much as they've said
in ghost cities.
Right? Exactly. Now, again, I don't know if any of that's real. I haven't really looked into it, but I hear those whispers. Sometimes those whispers are right. So
that's what we found out over the past 10 years.
Right.
There's some basis of truth in some of these conspiracies and whispering. So, but yeah, you put Trump at whatever hotel, you atomize whatever it is and send it through the ventilation system. The government of China could care less about, the 200 hotel workers.
Right.
They're just going to do what they're going to do.
Right. Because it's a long-term goal. The whole difference between all of this is a long-term goal. So yeah, no, but I'm glad. What's it like up there in Maine? Are they freaking out over it, or what's?
No, I mean,
good.
We don't have a lot of reports of it. It's usually out in the Southwest because animal handling and things like that. But I have not seen anything that says anyone's even bothered by it at this point.
All right, well, that's good.
Yep.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad nobody's, working on the virus up there, trying to convince everybody to stay inside or get a shot or whatever it is that they're doing. But
I was worried, but going back, I was worried about the show. I mean, that was my big thing. Like, I'm not going to be able to do the show.
Well, if you could have had Susan bring your laptop, I would have gladly have had you do it from your hospital bed. But
goggle-eyed and hey,
were they going to? Did they tell you like, hey, after the surgery, here's what's going to go on? Like, I think mine was probably different than what you would have had because they did with the cancer. They did take part of my colon on my right side, whatever. Okay. I guess I don't know if that's the large or small, whatever. It's the right colon. They took like 6 inches of it or something.
That's your ascending colon.
Yeah, sure. That sounds right. But anyway, they took 6 inches of it. So it's probably different because that had to heal up. That's part of your, your whole track or whatever. Did they tell you that you weren't going to be able to have anything, food or water for the first 24 hours after surgery?
No. I mean, I admittedly didn't ask all those questions. I was just more, honestly, that's why I said, what's this procedure look like? And she told me what was going to have to happen. And after that, I was just like, okay, here we go. So I didn't get into the depths of post-op or anything to figure that part out.
You want to talk about not being able to sleep. I had 24 hours where they were keeping me hydrated through my IV.
Yeah.
I could not, nothing. Water, nothing. You want to talk about, you always hear about people, and I'm dying of thirst or whatever. Oh, I now know, like, what it's like, because it was a legit 24 hours after surgery where they're like, you can't eat, you can't have anything. And then like the next day it was, okay, you get, I don't remember what it was. Well, you got like a half a cup of like ice chips.
Oh, okay.
And I could put the ice chips in, let them melt and have it that way. And I would get a new thing of ice chips like every 2 hours or whatever. So I kind of in my head did the math and figured it out. So like, let's say they brought me my ice chips at noon. I wouldn't touch them. I'd wait till like 1:45
and hammer it.
And then I'd have the 15 minutes from 1:45 to 2. And then when the 2 o'clock one came, I would take that down as well. And then just have to wait until 4 when the next one came. And cause I was like, the first time I finished them. I'm like, I got to wait another hour and a half. This is not enough. I got to have more than this. So I started trying to time it out. And I had, I think, 2 days of that, of just ice chips. And then they moved on to like bone broth or beef broth, whatever it was. And, kind of went from there. But I think it's because I had to have the colon stitched up. But you're talking about not sleeping, man. That was miserable when you can't drink anything and your mouth is completely dry. And they're coming in every 2 hours and like, oh, we got to check. Let me beep. You're like, yeah, I'm fine. everything's good. And then they come back 2 hours later at 4 a.m. And as you said, they take your little wrist thing, go, boop, suck. So anyway.
Remember, you can lock your door. And the other thing, sure, you should be able to lock it.
Not when you can't get out of the bed.
Well, you couldn't. I said this is where a friend in crime helps, because I was in the same boat with you can't have anything, and they gave me the sponge sticks to dip in water and wipe the inside of my mouth. And so when Susan shows up, I said, "Give me that Diet Pepsi," and poured it right in the cup. And I did follow the rules. I didn't drink it, but I certainly swabbed a lot of Diet Pepsi there for a little bit, just to get some flavor, something going.
I wish I had that. I would have definitely done that, but no, nothing.
Well, I think for you, it's they're concerned if they have to go back in within a certain amount of time. They want to keep your stomach empty. They don't want you aspirating and getting aspiration pneumonia from coughing up water, upchucking water, and having to go back down your lung. Your level of surgery, which I would have probably been close to too, is highly risky, and they really try to keep everything locked down just in case.
I got an infection from it because, again, where they're doing the surgery, there's a lot of stuff down there. Excuse me. That is not good. So you can get an infection because you're dealing with your bowels and waste and that kind of thing. So they said something like 45% of people that have this surgery that I had end up getting an infection.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that made me mad, because I was like, if you know this is going to happen, like they at first just stapled me shut.
Okay.
Like, because I was literally cut, like you said, from just below my belly button all the way up. And I have got a big giant scar, and it looks like somebody hit a 7-iron out of my stomach, took a big giant divot. It's still there. It's always going to be there. But so they stapled it, right? And I just remember, and you're talking about being able to walk around the hospital to be able to leave. I just remember, like, after the first couple of days, when like, okay, you're starting to eat a little bit more, get your strength back. We got to get you up and walking and stuff. I just remember I would try to walk, and I mean, I would be able to go like 10 feet and be like, I can't do this. I don't know what's wrong with me. And like the 70-year-old dude that just had hip surgery is like, like walking right by me. And I'm like, what this isn't right. I should be able to crush this guy walking the hall, but I couldn't do it. So that's when they were like, oh, you've got an infection. What we're going to do is take out some of the staples. Maybe that'll kind of like air things out. I'm like, air things out? What are you talking about? So they did. And this is when I was like, I don't want it, because they're like, do you want the pain meds? I'm like, how many are you taking out? They're like 4 or 5. And I'm like, nope, let's go. We're raw dogging this thing. So they did. They pulled them, and I was like, oh boy, I was gripping the side of that bed as hard as I could, because it was not pleasant. And it still didn't help. I still had the infection. So then they come back, and one of the nurse guy, he was a guy, he came back in. They had like 14 more that they had to take out. I think I had like 20 staples altogether, whatever it was. So they come back the next time. They're like, look, we're going to give you this wound vac. I don't know if you know what a wound vac is. I'm like, why didn't you give me this right from the get-go? This would have been so much. It worked so much better. So
more
fast. Complicated. It's not. It's a sponge, and they put a thing on it and sucks everything out. It's
easier to staple you. That's what I'm saying.
I guess. So anyway, the guy comes in, and they're prepping and everything. I'm like, all right, well, just let me run, take a leak real quick, and then you guys can do your thing. And the guy's like, well, do you want? And I don't remember. It wasn't like oxycodone. It was some other pain medicine or whatever. And I'm like, no, not really. I said, I did the last ones without it. I said, I'm good. And I went in, and I came back out, and he pulled me aside real quick. He's like, look, man, everybody knows you're tough. He's like, what you've been through is ridiculous. He goes like, I'm telling you, you want to take this stuff. He's like, you need this stuff. He's like, and I was like, I did the other ones. He's like, we're doing 3 times as many. He's like, you're not. And he goes, and it's in a different place. It's further down your stomach. He was like, trust me. He goes, you'd rather lay there and be a little high than halfway through this thing, you start screaming, and there's nothing we can do because it's
too late.
It's like too late. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And so they put in my IV and chop me up. And that was the only time I took it. I was like, I don't want any of this stuff after this. But anyway, so they yanked it all up, put this wound back in. I'm not kidding. Within 6 hours of this thing being in, I was like, good to go. Let's go, baby. Test. I mean, I felt great. It cleared it up so fast. So like the next morning, I was like, can I see if I can get discharged? And the guy was like, I mean, you couldn't make it around yesterday. I'm like, I can do it today. And sure as nothing, I got up. I did like 2 or 3 laps around there. I'm like, see, we're good. Let's get the hell out of here. And then I had to keep the wound back in for the next 30 days or whatever it was. It was brutal, but it might actually been longer than that. I think it might have been 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. But that was the worst because they have it taped all the way down and this sponge in the middle of your stomach that's just sucking out all the whatever discharge and fluids. And you had to get it changed 3 times a week. So I had a nurse that came to the house. The worst part, the first couple times, wasn't removing the sponge. It was removing the tape. Because I have a little bit of a hairy stomach. They didn't shave it down when they put it on the first time. And so they're pulling it off, and it's just ripping every single hair out of my stomach. And then the gross part is when they pull the sponge out, you can
smell it. Oh,
well, smell it too. Oh, it was awful. But you can feel it as they're pulling it. You can feel it like holding on because basically your skin is trying to close around it. So they're pulling it out. It was by the time they finished doing it, I knew when she was coming, I'd have the tape rolled out. I'd have the sponge loose. She'd literally come in, saline, take a picture, drop the next sponge in, tape it, and go. It was like the first time it was like a half-hour process. The last couple of times it's like 5 minutes. She was in and out. I'm like, I'm saving you so much time because I'm just doing it myself. So
well, that was my joy last night when they pulled the NG tube after they said no surgery.
Yeah.
But then we got to pull all the EKG tags off, and I am a little bit of a hairy man, and so it hurt, but I did not care because we were done. Like we reached that moment.
Yep.
No NG tube, no surgery. This is going to hurt. I don't care because we're done with this.
Now, how was it when they took the tube out?
Oh, easy. The surgeon just said, "You ready?" I said, "Yep." She goes, "Here we go." Cough, and done.
All right. Yeah, that was the thing. Going down, not great. Coming up, it's amazing at how easily just reel it in, and then you're good to go. Yeah, that was the worst part of that. Well, I'm glad that you ended up okay. That is tremendous. And they said no food restrictions. Like they weren't like, hey, maybe avoid this so you don't end up with it again.
Not specifically. And there was nothing I could point to when I was kind of going over my dietary habits. Just nothing that was outstanding. Like, oh, I had that and that's not. It was just basic chicken and stuff. So did I have a bad chicken? Maybe. I couldn't tell.
Well, but I thought that the hernia was wrapped around. I mean, that's the weird thing.
Well, I'm going to go back and read the notes again because tough to read it on your phone when it's you're reading all this report and it's that big.
Drop it into Chat GPT. It'll be fine. It'll tell you. So
tell me what my doctor didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's next then? Are you back to work? Everything's fine. You're good to go.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't. Work doesn't know, and obviously, since I had no surgeries or anything, there's nothing to say or get cleared.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's like having a cold, right?
I didn't know if you're gonna take a couple days or whatever.
I am. I'm taking today and
I
tomorrow.
meant from normal. I meant from normal. So
2 days off, and then I'm right back at it on Friday for 3 days.
All right.
Yeah,
sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, I'm again glad that you're safe. I was gonna have it to be, tell people like, hey, this is why you should go get checked. But like, there's nothing to get checked.
Nope.
There wasn't anything. I mean, look, if you're a person of near our age, we're mid-50s, you should probably have already had a colonoscopy or had that checked because that'll take care of a lot of different things. And it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
Nope.
It's fine. Prep's not a big deal. Would I go out walking around the mall? No. But you can sit at home, binge Netflix, and it's not like you won't be able to make it to your bathroom if you're like, oh, gotta go. Yeah. And you're going to be doing that a lot, but you're not. It's not like a panic thing where you're like, oh, no, and then it's too late. I mean, that was my experience anyway. The couple that I've had. I don't know if it's been the same thing.
No, it wasn't that difficult. I mean, it's everyone I think wants to make it a thing, like and I mean, it's not that big a deal. Just be smart, prepare yourself, and get ready. And it's a short nap for the procedure.
It's a great nap, by the way.
Yeah,
I can see why like rock stars and other people would have somebody that, like, if you were like, I need to be out for like 2 hours because I need to just get a good rest. I could see why that could get addictive, because it is maybe a 20 to 30 minute procedure, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's about that long.
Yep.
And you wake up. I've had 3. Every time I've finished and woken up, I've been like,
let's do it again.
I feel awesome. I'm hungry.
Do you have any more openings today I can jump in?
I mean, it sounds dumb, but I was like, I feel great. Like, but I mean, you're still a little groggy, like kind of not there yet, but you're like, feel great. You're hungry. I can remember after one of them, I get done and Carrie had taken me to it, and she's like, well, you just want to go home and sleep now? I'm like, no, I want to go get lunch. I'm starving. Couldn't eat the whole day before. Like, let's go. I feel great.
It's sort of like a great weekend in Vegas. Minus the procedure, right? You get knocked out for a bit, you wake up, you're feeling like, oh, this is good, let's get something to eat, do something, come back, and whatever it is, and you get knocked out again. Start all over.
You get a bad morning at the tables, you go up, you take a 3-hour nap, you get up, you're like, I'm ready, let's go. Tonight, who's in town? Come on.
Right.
It is. I mean, again, maybe I'm strange that way. I loved it. I mean, not the procedure itself, but like that feeling when you wake up, you're like, that was the best nap I've had in months.
And that's, I can't remember which one they told me. Roboxin, I think they gave me for the muscle relaxant. I was in a good space, and then when the first time they came in to do, I'm like, just leave me. Oh, sorry, we gotta take.
Sit here and vibe.
I'm in a good. Why are you waking me up?
Exactly. All right. We'll wrap this up. We've done a good set. Again, glad you got it out. Glad you were able to tell everybody exactly what was going on. Because again, I was going to do like 15 minutes of just like, hey, Gary's, giving the update, because you would have had your surgery today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have gotten the update from somebody and been like, here's what's going on. But I'm glad we didn't have to do that. So
yeah, I mean, I would have attempted, because we weren't probably going to drive the computers or anything. I would have attempted by phone, to join in for a
couple
15,
seconds.
20 minutes, depending on how I was feeling.
It would have been great if you were completely stoned out of your mind on the pain pills. It'd have been awesome.
To me, would have been awesome is having me in the wheelchair, Susan wheeling me around Eastern Maine Medical Center, talking to you. Hey, Bill, look who's here. This is Frank. Frank just had a hip done, and he wants to say hi to our listeners.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So, all right, any parting words before we get out of here?
Just for anyone out there, if you know yourself the best, if your gut says something's wrong, it never hurts to go get evaluated and checked out.
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.